Coming up on today's episode, what exactly does a $2.25 million HDTV look like? And can you get a 100-inch screen for under $1,000? We're going to talk about the top 5 World War II movies in Blu-ray and the best way to avoid buying a sucktastic Blu-ray disc. And of course, we got the Blu-ray releases for the week of March 23rd, 2010. This is HD Nation. Today's episode is brought to you by Squarespace, Netflix, and GoDaddy.com.
Welcome to HD Nation. I'm Robert Herron.
And I'm Patrick Norton. HD Nation is your guide to the best in HD content and the best in home theater gear, no matter what your budget is. Blu-ray, online, satellite, cable, over the air, thumb drive. If it's an HD, we like it. Speaking of which, I gotta say, I can't decide if I'm into it or not into it. The Tron Legacy trailer. It's, well, catch a moment of this. It's Tron meets The Matrix with an older Jeff Bridges playing Flynn, of course. It is gorgeous. I am curious, but I am on the fence. I mean, have you seen it?
The trailer looks great.
It's gorgeous.
And I like hearing Jeff Bridges' voice at the end of the trailer, too.
Yeah, actually.
I guess it's his son, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
The son of Flynn.
The son of Flynn.
I hope it's good. I hope the trailer's not the best part of this whole thing.
Isn't that the worst? Yeah,
it could be. It could be. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Oh my goodness. Oh, by the way, if you're dying to see what all this 3D HDTV hoopla is all about, check to see if your local Best Buy is one of the 200 with a full-on Blu-ray 3D demo setup. Panasonic 50-inchers started out on March 10th. Rumor has it that they're already sold out. Samsung 46 and 55 inches will be on display March 21st, according to High Def Disc News. If you're curious about the whole sitting down, putting on the glasses, and getting your 3D on, that's probably the easiest way to find it in your local neighborhood or wherever your nearest Best Buy is.
Now, I have to say, if you've completely lost your mind or you have Arab oil chic money laying around, you can drop $2.25 million on a blinged out Supreme Gold HDTV from Stuart Hughes.
I'm sorry, was that $2.25 million?
Yeah, let's figure this bit out here. Let's do some math. The HDTV bits come from a company called Metz. It's a German HDTV maker. And the set itself is about $2,000. The other $2.25 million comes in the form of 62 pounds of 18-karat gold. 62 pounds. That's for the outer bezel. And an inner bezel made of, wait for it, alligator skin.
Yes!
And of course, you might as well throw in 72 1-carat diamonds for the frame. And you thought that gold and diamond encrusted weed was over the top.
Yeah, that Stewart company, whoever it is, they did the sort of.
That just goes into more brains than
more money than brains.
I don't even like how that would look. You know, it's just too gaudy. And if I've got $2.25 million or $2.5 million, I'm building a dedicated theater. I'm not going to buy one TV.
Room, right?
Dedicated room. I'll build the house and then the room around it and fill it full of goods. Anyway, that's just nuts.
Speaking of building, congrats to CNN. They've completed the 5,000 square foot HD studio in their Atlanta headquarters. Didn't you see that when it was actually like gutted?
Yes, I was there doing a trip for CEDIA last year, and they had that room prepped. It was all blank. They just had basically the wiring and the walls done, but I'm curious to see it in action now.
So they're actually going to have their daytime and their weekend programming that comes out of Atlanta in 1080i.
Nice.
So
nice.
At least the stuff produced in the studio, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And they'll begin rehearsals this week, and then we'll flip that HD switch in the Master Control suite sometime this spring, probably after they figure out how to control over 2 miles of the LED lighting system they have installed.
It's crazy. Apparently they're going to have like different lighting moods, but a consistent overall lighting schema for all their, like daytime and weekend program. It's crazy. I can't imagine dealing with that kind of lighting setup. Although once they get it figured out, it's probably all like one-button master controlled where they hit a button and all of the lights change. For
That sounds
everything.
like a lighting engineer's just crazy fun dream.
Or nightmare.
Could be. No, once it gets up, they'll be around tweaking. It just gives them so much flexibility and, I imagine, power savings over conventional lighting systems.
Yeah, like because we're under like 17,000 watts of lights right now, which came out of a playhouse from like 1950. Hot and sweaty, people.
Yeah, baby.
Anyhow, CNN's been doing HD from the New York studio since 2007, and if you want to get your geek on and look at all the details of their new studio, check out Broadcasting and Cable. They've got a bunch of information on that. So, are you ready?
I might be. For what?
14 days and counting until the theatrical edition of the Lord of the Rings trilogy hits the street on Blu-ray, and the HD Nation's overwhelming response since we were talking about it last week.
Please.
Mostly silence.
Now, my fellow Hobbit haters out there seem to be the silent majority, because, or you might be like Luke, who wrote in and said, I like both versions.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Theatrical, extended, whatever. We did get an extreme response from Chris in the United Kingdom, who says, give me extended or give me death. Why buy theatrical now just to replace it later? Okay. I actually kind of like the theatrical editions because you don't have to have a freaking, you know, what do they call those things that gather your pee when you're sitting in a movie theater for 4 hours? Catheters, that's the one.
The bag.
Yeah. The best response, though, I think, came from Derek. You want to read this one?
I think we both agree on this one. Definitely the best response. He goes, quote unquote, I'm with you, Pat. Lord of the Rings is awesome. Suck it, Heron. Derek, that's just awesome. I want that slogan on a t-shirt. And that would be epic. I want that.
Suck it, Heron. I think we can make that happen.
On the back, I want to, never mind. We'll figure this out. Here comes the flood of, hopefully, packages.
What's that website where you can get t-shirts made free? By the way, Luke of I Like Both Versions fame wanted everybody to know that you can still get the 1977 theatrical release of Star Wars, the one where Han does the killing first, not Greedo, and without all the weird, non-Muppety kind of characters. That's out on DVD still, bundled with the 2004 Reloaded versions, where Greedo shoots first.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He also said it would be nice, so nice, if Star Wars on Blu-ray included the originals as well. How many Lucas-directed movies have made it to Blu-ray?
Like none?
2?
Any?
I don't know.
None that I'm watching.
What about that fourth Indiana Jones movie? Did he direct that, or was that Spielberg directing?
I've been afraid to see that one.
I have it, brand new.
I want my childhood
unwrapped.
memories of Indiana Jones beat up the way my childhood memories of Star. Anyhow, look, we hope so too, Luke. But given the fact that Fox plans on getting at least 2 2D versions of Avatar out this year with no sign of a 3D version to follow, I smell a Lucas big box festival of releases. Probably, you know, with and without books and toys and Ewoks.
I don't know. He's nervous about disc publishing for some reason. Anyway.
Well, he's trying to control everything.
Yeah. And these so-called HD versions that you see on TV, I
Right.
swear most of them are just up-converted DVD content anyway.
A lot of what you see on
Pathetic.
Yeah, well.
Anyway.
Maybe he's like Whitman. Lucas is like Whitman, where he kept like updating Leaves of Grass every time it was republished. Lucas is an artist. The form is evolving, the technologies. You're not buying a single word of this.
No.
Let's talk about Squarespace, one of our sponsors here at HD Nation. They're a publishing system for anybody that wants to have a good-looking, functional website. And the best part, no coding is required. I can't code my way out of a paper bag, but with Squarespace, I can actually make a pretty sophisticated website. Now, you may think like, I don't want to use the Fisher-Price starter kit of web design. Squarespace is pretty sophisticated. My wife, who's a pretty powerful developer, actually thought Squarespace made it easier for her to get a website put up and together fast and simple. They also do hosting for their monthly fee, which is slick. They got the ability to basically take whatever kind of bandwidth. If you go viral, they're ready to deal with it. And they're also ready to move your existing site over. If you're on WordPress, Blogger, Typepad, or Movable Type, they've got a tool that will import pretty much everything. Your posts, your comments, your tags, your authors, all of your media. They don't just do blogs, they do all kinds of websites, and they make it pretty painless. They also make it easy for you to save some money on this, at least with a little help from HD Nation. That's a promo code, HD Nation. That gets you 10% off the lifetime of your order. It doesn't happen when you first check out squarespace.com, but a couple weeks later when they say, hey, pay up or go away, do us a favor, enter HD Nation as a promo code. You'll get 10% off the lifetime of your order. It's a pretty good deal. You should check it out. Squarespace.com. HBO's launch of the latest Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg homage to the greatest generation. It's called The Pacific and launched last Sunday. It's pretty epic. Duh, that's pretty much what Hanks and Spielberg do. But if you don't have HBO, you won't be finding it on disc anytime before the second half of this year. So we decided to fire up a top 5 World War II movies on Blu-ray this week for everybody who wants to get your World War II on but doesn't have HBO. First up, Band of Brothers, the story of Easy Company from boot camp till the end of the war in the European theater. This was the first Hank Spielberg executive-produced miniseries for HBO in the wake of Saving Private Ryan, which was an amazing movie. We're going to talk about that and its relationship to Blu-ray in a second, because I know you're like, that's the movie, that's the movie.
I like that one.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood look at both sides, the Pacific Theater and Flags of Our Father and Letters from Iwo Jima. They depict island fighting in the Pacific and, of course, the emotional impact of surviving when so many died. Either one will look amazing on your HDTV. These are benchmark transfers. Roger Chang, a producer, loves 1965's Battle of the Bulge almost as much as I love Midway. The big difference, the Battle of the Bulge is actually out on Blu-ray, and Warner did a great job bringing some very old and beat-up film to Blu-ray. If you've only seen this movie hacked up on TV back in the day, you'll be surprised. Though the soundtrack isn't as spectacular as the color in the video, nobody was doing surround sound back then. The director's commentary, by the way, new to the Blu-ray and is a very good listen. Now, brace yourselves.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure my grandfather would approve of The Dirty Dozen or Inglourious Bastards. He was a World War II vet, but my dad, a Vietnam vet, loved Lee Marvin's salty character in The Dirty Dozen, though the credits and dissolves look awfully funky under 1080p scrutiny. Some of the effects he did in the 60s don't hold up well when you get the detail in there. Oh, by the way, producer Serafina and I, we love killing Nazis. Or Nazis. Nazis. Killing Nazis. So Inglourious Bastards is on the list. One of my favorites, Patton, though the video is slightly marred by some digital noise reduction that wipes out a bit of the detail on the screen. Somebody had the digital noise set to stun. They didn't need it. Well, it's Patton. It's the best opening speech ever. Okay, that's 6. And to make sure we stick to HD Nation's tradition of not being able to stop at 5, which we've already done, a movie I've been waiting for on Blu-ray for quite some time, and Mr. Heron's pick for this list, Saving Private Ryan, and its completely unhinged opening scene will be released on Blu-ray May 4th this year. I would be shocked if that was not a benchmark transfer.
Epic.
And the soundtrack is completely unhinged. Oh, one last thing for World War II history buffs in the audience. April 26, all 26 episodes of the epic 1952 documentary Victory at Sea and its amazing score will be available in a single deluxe edition in HD on Blu-ray. I have no idea what the transfer is going to look like. We're talking 1952 television. I doubt they had access to the original films because they used some amazing footage, real-life footage. It's if you've never seen it, you're into history. It's a fascinating series. Definitely keep an eye open for that one.
Are you checking out the Band of Brothers series right now?
Yes.
Have you seen it before?
No.
Arguably, if you have the time, I think that's one of my favorite World War II series that's ever been made. Yeah. It's just a terrific story.
And I'm actually just now seeing it because it's out on Blu-ray, and I'm racking up the episodes of the Pacific on the DVR so I can watch those. Because I'm reading all the books that the Pacific was based on, which is just Band
of Brothers is epic. But I have to say, if you're time constrained, I gotta say. The other movie we just talked about. Oh,
Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, thank you.
If you want to get your World War II experience of combat horror on and don't have the time for a miniseries,
Time for the new Blu-ray releases for the week of March 23rd, 2010. Saturday saw the release of Twilight New Moon, although you'll find different extras on your disc depending on if you buy it at Walmart, Target, Best Buy, or Borders, so be sure to shop around to get the one you want. Both Toy Story 1 and 2 will be released this week, and both films include the DVD as well. They each feature a sneak peek at Toy Story 3, which is due in theaters in June, with Toy Story 1 focusing on the third film's story, and Toy Story 2 focuses on the third film's characters. Other special features on the original film include Buzz Takes Manhattan and Black Friday, the Toy Story You Never Saw, among others, and extras on the sequel's disc include Paths to Pixar Technical Artists and Pixar's Zoetrope, and more. Next up, we have The Blind Side, starring Sandra Bullock in her Oscar and Golden Globe winning role, and a true story about a family who takes in a homeless kid and helps him become an All-American football player. The disc features a 1080p VC1 codec and a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 surround mix, with extras like deleted scenes and several featurettes and interviews, including one with the pro football player Michael Orr, whose life the film depicts. Also released is Fantastic Mr. Fox, a stop-motion film based on the charming story by Roald Dahl, starring George Clooney, and directed by the guy who brought you The Royal Tenenbaums and Rushmore, Wes Anderson. And find even more Clooney with The Men Who Stare at Goats, also on Blu-ray this week. Very loosely based on the US military's experimentation with new age and paranormal concepts like psychic powers and use of LSD for military purposes. Also starring Ewan McGregor, Jeff Bridges, and Kevin Spacey, this hilarious movie comes in an MPEG-4 AVC 1080p codec with a Dolby Digital True HD 5.1 mix and includes extras such as a look at the real 1st Earth Battalion that inspired the book this movie was based on. Other releases this week include The African Queen, also available in a commemorative box set, the Criterion Collection's Bigger Than Life, Brothers, the Criterion Collection's Days of Heaven, Free Willy, Escape from Pirates Cove, 2003's The Italian Job, Mad Men Season 3, Redcliffe, available in both the theatrical version and a 2-disc international version, and the Criterion Collection's Yojimbo and Sanjuro from Akira Kurosawa, available separately or in one package. Let's take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, Netflix. This week I have the French sci-fi fairy tale, The City of Lost Children, awaiting for me in my mailbox at home. Ooh, subtitles. With more than 12 million members, Netflix is the world's largest subscriber service, streaming movies and TV episodes over the internet and sending DVDs by mail. With more than 12 million members, Netflix is the world's largest subscription service, streaming movies and TV episodes over the internet and sending DVDs by mail. For $8.99 a month, Netflix members can instantly watch unlimited TV episodes and movies streamed to their TVs and computers and can receive unlimited DVDs delivered quickly to their homes. With Netflix, there are never any due dates or late fees. Members can select from a growing library of titles that can be watched instantly and a vast array of titles on DVD. Among the large and expanding base of devices that can stream movies and TV episodes from Netflix right to members' TVs are Microsoft's Xbox 360, Sony's PlayStation 3 game console, and this spring, Nintendo's Wii console. Find movies you love easily. You can browse, search, or see Netflix personalized recommendations. They even have a special back of box feature that lets you get the details of any movie instantly. As a Netflix Unlimited member, you get Blu-ray movies by mail in about 1 business day. Shipping is free and Blu-ray plans start at just $5.99 a month. As a new member and HD Nation viewer, you can get a 1-month free trial membership. Go to www.netflix.com/HDNation and sign up now. Be sure to use this URL so they know we sent you.
HD projectors are a great way to get a big screen home theater experience in your house without sacrificing a lot of space or spending a lot of money. Robert had the pleasure of checking out one such projector. Pretty much the first sub-1000 projector, 1080p sub-1000, Optoma's HD20. He's been hands-on with it. What do you think?
You're not going to find a better value for a full 1080p front projector around. I mean, if you need to save money, the $999 price point, list price for this projector, I think I've seen it for maybe $100 less if you shop around. That's really the big selling point here. You get a bright single chip DLP projector, 1080p resolution. They claim about 1700 ANSI lumens. That's about middle of the park. It's not the super bright projectors, but it's going to be a lot brighter than other projectors I've used in the past. Especially I had a DVD player built into a projector one time, and this is about 50% brighter than that. So I still say you're not going to be able to use it in a brightly lit room, but still good light for a 6.4 pound projector.
Are any projectors out there capable of doing the deed in a brightly lit room, or you need to be able to pull the curtains?
You can if you spend the money, and we're talking 5 figures usually for those projectors, because you're talking usually about like a 4,000 watt bulb. And
Wow.
Expensive. The bulbs can be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, let alone a projector that costs $999 with a $200 bulb. So that's really the limitation here. It provides HDMI input, 2 of them actually, so if you have multiple sources, that's easy there. Also, component and VGA inputs as well.
Oh, nice.
Calibration setup, it included white balance controls, which is really what you're looking for something like this. So you can adjust the white point to make sure it's a neutral gray rather than something tinged a little red or blue. They're claiming 3,000 to 4,000 hours on the bulb with the lamp assembly. Not bad at all. Under typical usage, if you crank up the brightness, it's like a high bright and a low bright mode for this projector. If you use the high bright mode, you're going to get less hours than if you take your time with it. Anyway, performance-wise, I will say that one of the other limitations of a projector like this is overall black level, how black is black going to look on the screen. If you've got a brand new LCD panel and you're admiring how deep and dark and luscious blacks are in that kind of a picture, you'll be mildly disappointed with this projector in that sense because, well, you're sacrificing some of that. It doesn't offer anything like an auto iris feature that can automatically gate down when it's a dark scene. So, you know, if you did a side-by-side comparison, you would see that your LCD and your plasma TVs would probably give you more contrast than you'd get out of this. It is a single-chip DLP system, meaning that it uses a spinning color wheel. It is a 6-segment color wheel that runs at 4x speeds. That's a lot better than some of the 2x speed wheels that you'll see from the business class projectors that are super tiny. The 4x speed minimizes an artifact called rainbowing that you can see sometimes in highly contrasted material. With DLP and the spinning color wheel, if you blink sometimes, or you move your hand in front of your face at the right moment, or you move your head too much looking around, you'll see a breakup, a rainbow artifact breakup on the screen.
Are you going to find
the 4X speed helps?
Are you going to find multiple chip DLPs and more expensive?
They're usually $10,000 on up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's usually a 5.
So we're talking about a lot more money.
Definitely. There are other projectors to consider, like 3. If you're more of a cinephile and you want that cinema experience with perhaps better performance, 3-chip LCD projectors started around $2,000. Okay. So it's when you get to the DLP side, for whatever reason, they don't seem to have a 3-chip DLP in the same price points. They have the 3-chip LCD projectors. And also, if you're looking for a projector that'll do like 120 hertz function to minimize judder artifacts in film content, this doesn't offer that, but it's $9.99, and that's really the bottom line there. It's an excellent value for a full 1080p front projector. I will say too, compared to some of the more expensive projectors as well, you'll get a slightly sharper picture due to better optics on those more expensive projectors. But I'm talking 2 or 3 times more money you're going to have to spend to really get above what you're getting out of this.
I mean, 2 years ago, a 1080p projector was like $5,000 plus, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If that low.
That was like when they first introduced, they were in the upper end. It was five-digit projectors for that kind of coin. And now we're moving down to that price point. They used to have a 720p version of this for the same $1,000. Now they got a 1080p part in here doing for that same price point. This is also, you got to keep in mind too, there is no audio system with a projector like this. So if you just keep in mind, you're going to have to deliver your audio somehow to enjoy that experience. So if you want to just use it with a game console, you're going to need some kind of speaker tech. Actually, I've been meaning to look too.
Blu-ray into your receiver, the video signal goes here, then you hook up your. So I'm sensing a thumbs up on this.
Oh, it's awesome. I just don't know of anything better for that price point. That's the thing. If you want a projector that, you know what, it's not a priceless object. It's $1,000, but it's not like a $5,000 home theater projector. And you want it just for quick and dirty projection or a good setup in your home theater room. You don't want to spend a lot of money. It's a good option to check out.
So pretty much it is the deal at the price point.
I love it. I want one. I really do.
He does want one. Sometime in the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about screen options for a projector, how to make a projector look its best. Because I was obsessing over the sizes earlier, but it's like it's a little different from setting up a flat panel or even a rear projection HDTV. You got to put some thought into it. You got to think about a screen. We're going to talk about that in the next couple of weeks. And we got to go thank another sponsor.
Let's do it.
GoDaddy, GoDaddy.com. I've been buying my domains from GoDaddy.com for years. GoDaddy wants you to know that you can keep your personal information away from spammers, hackers, and that psychotic ex-roommate you left behind in Jersey. You can do it using private domain registration. Basically, it protects your privacy by keeping your address, your phone number, and all that other stuff that shows up in a Whois look out of the public database. Use code HDN12. You're going to score $10 off any order of $40 or more at GoDaddy. It doesn't matter if you're talking hosting, domains, private domain registration. Use that code HDN12. You're going to score $10 off any order of $40 or more. And do yourself a favor. If you're looking for a slightly different deal or maybe you don't want to spend $40, check out revision3.com/GoDaddy. You're going to find a whole slew of HDH and GoDaddy deals and codes to get you a great deal and also help keep us on the air.
One additional item I didn't show off was the remote that comes with the Optoma HD20. Get a load of how bright that backlight is. That is seriously, in a dark room, that was a blindingly blue light, but I do appreciate it being as backlit as it is. So
Backlight's nice.
It is.
Backlit and blinding's a little disturbing.
Blinding.
So if you were going to step up, like $1,000 for the Optoma HD20, if you're going to step up, what's the next sort of price point we're going to hit? What's your next ideal projector?
2 of them come to mind. Panasonic has their 4000 series projector. That's a 3 LCD projector for about $2,000. You can find it $2,100. And Epson has their 8500 UB, the ultra black. That supposedly has excellent contrast performance, and that's about $2,300. And both of those projectors include that horizontal and vertical lens shifting I was talking about. So it makes placement a little bit easier. The zoom is a little more effective, so you have a wider range of distances you could set the projector at. I mean, ideally for any projector, you want to have it with the zoom all the way open for the most light output, but having a zoom is nice just to be able to custom fit something if you're limited in terms of where you can place the projector.
To get your zoom on?
Get your zoom on, but not unless you have to. Ideally, you wouldn't. Move that projector to the sweet spot, just let it go.
Ideally, you'll build your room around the projection environment.
Exactly.
Yes.
Budget permitting.
Jeff writes in, this is a simple question. I am not into wasting money any longer. I know that Blu-ray is the new/best way of getting the highest quality HDTV to my TV, but the transfer quality of all Blu-rays is not equal for a variety of reasons. Where can I get the best reviews of the video and possibly audio so that I do not waste money on a bad transfer that at times is not even up to the snuff of a DVD? Jeff, Three sites come to mind for me.
High def disc news.
Yes.
That's the first one that always comes to my mind. Where else can we go?
High Def Digest and Blu-ray.com. Those are three of my personal favorites. I hit those constantly.
Good deal.
There are some really, really serious. I mean, these people live to analyze the sometimes disturbing effects that happen. Here's the thing, right? New movies, there's no excuse for a movie made in the last 5 or probably even 10 years for not looking good in a Blu-ray transfer. But the major difficulty is really older films, especially like the stuff from our youth, the 80s.
Yes.
Because a lot of 80s movies were shot on incredibly cheap film. Some of it wasn't stored very well. Some of it, they had sort of a soft lighting, kind of soft focus effect that was really popular.
Smearing Vaseline on all those lenses.
It just doesn't transfer well to Blu-ray. And also especially with older stuff, when you get into seriously old stuff, 60s, early 70s, late 50s, actually pretty much everything up to the 70s, the willingness of the studio to spend money on restoration and whether or not they can even find a quality, whether they can find the negatives period or a quality print do the transfer from. So, if it's a movie that the studio doesn't think a whole lot of people are going to buy, they're not going to spend a lot of money on the restoration unless it's a real prestige item for them.
Yeah, let's hope restoration technologies become cheaper and more affordable for these companies doing these transfers too.
Yeah, I will say, by the way, beware of Blu-rays that hit the street right after a star has died. Nothing uglier than a bad DVD transfer blown up to 1080p.
Where's my airplane and Blu-ray? Peter Graves.
Yeah, well, it was.
Do you like gladiator movies? I have that on DVD. It's a cherished disc.
It is a cherished disc. I'm sure Airplane will get transferred at some point.
I hope so.
If Blazing Saddles can get transferred, Airplane
I have that on
can.
HD DVD.
You do?
I
Blazing
cherish
Saddles?
Yes.
There's actually a Mel Brooks boxed set now, I think, that includes Blazing Saddles. A ton of his movies have made it to Blu-ray.
Awesome.
Gets
High
the
anxiety,
movie nerd
baby.
movies and Blazing Saddles.
Here's your newspaper.
The cowboy scene. Jimmy writes in, hey, Norton and Heron, I was at my local Costco and was wondering, where are Sharp Aquos HDTVs made? Heron already talked about Samsung, and you guys already went over the Vizio and Sony Bravia HDTVs are the same. We did. Thanks for all the great HD news. Jimmy C. in Montebello, California.
Sakai City, Japan.
That's where Sharp...
Type that into Google Earth and watch the camera go, woo, dive right in.
Do they make the glass there and the HDTVs there?
Usually, especially for the largest screen sizes, 50 inches and above, you're typically making that glass nearby because it's so difficult to transport at any distance.
Oh, interesting.
The dangers of it shattering. When you got a millimeter thick sheet of glass that's the size of a king-size bed,
right,
it's difficult to move that around.
That would be ugly.
Yeah.
Now, when did you or I say that Vizio and Sony Bravia...
Sony and Samsung.
Sony and Samsung?
I've said that repeatedly.
Are the same televisions?
Not the exact same TVs, of course, but
similar quality?
They share technology quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Samsung and Sony came together to develop I think it's a corporation called the SLCD Corp, and basically a lot of the panel technology is shared by both companies. Samsung does a lot of the legwork, but Sony has their own development and technology as well for manufacturing. But if you look carefully at those screens, you will see that they're pretty much the same damn thing.
What about Vizio? Does Vizio share technology with Sony and Samsung?
Vizio's a third-party manufacturer. They source the parts, they put their sets, they have their sets put together to their tolerances, and then they ship them out. Most of their screens come from LG Electronics, so when you buy a Vizio, you're usually getting, the panel itself is probably made by LG in most cases. And for most of except for LG and Samsung, two Korean companies, the other manufacturers are mostly based out of Japan. There's a couple of Chinese manufacturers as well that still make everything from tube TVs up to LCDs, some of the smaller screens. But for the majority of TVs made, they do come out of Japan. So
good to know.
Yeah.
The wait is finally over, people. The second season of the internet sensation Web Zeros, that's Revision 3's first sitcom, if you didn't know, begins this week. Best friends and business partners Ray, Nate, and Alex are back reaching for their dreams of internet stardom and try not to fall all over themselves or kill themselves in the process. Check it out every Wednesday. It's at revision3.com/webzeros. Get your laugh on, people.
Hey, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode of HD Nation. As always, we want to know what you think. So send your comments, questions, or suggestions to hdnation@revision3.com.
Occurs to me that they won't be writing, they'll be typing. You can follow us on Twitter, by the way, twitter.com/HDNation, and of course you can hang out in the HD Nation forums at revision3.com/forum. And we try to put links to everything we talk about in the show notes. Those are at the show page at hdnation.tv.
And you'll also find all the links to subscribe to the show. So if you're not getting the latest episode of HD Nation delivered to your podcatcher, What are you waiting for?
That's right. Subscribe and watch and do us a favor. Tell your friends, especially if you're trying to buy something for their HDTV. We want everyone to watch this show. Everyone!
Thanks for watching, everyone. I am Robert Herron.
And I have lost my mind. I'm Patrick Norton. We'll see you next week on HD Nation.